Hello, everybody, and welcome to the October 29th, 2018 edition of the Ephrom Josine Show. I am your host, Ephrom Josine, and just before the American elections, Brazil decided that they would rip us off and do one of their own. Plagiarists! And to make it even more obvious they're ripping us off, the person they elected is a fascist. Oh yeah, did I not mention that? Now, the whole history of Brazil for the past few years has been kind of weird. To sum it up, basically they had a social democratic president who gave them a decent standard of living, and then was impeached on corruption charges and replaced with their cronies, and then the economy sort of fell, and that's why socialism is bad, I think. Because then the socialists will get removed from power because they have too much power, and the capitalists will take it over. It makes sense if you watch PragerU. But who is their new president, Mr. Oh God, Jair Bolsonaro? I already hate his name. Who ran against a socialist candidate. Well, to make it short, he is more or less a fascist. Now, we'll for a second ignore the fact his campaign was very weird, including making his two slogans, Brazil above everything and God above everyone, which kind of contradict each other, like what's first, the Brazilian people or God? But that actually brings us to our first view. As while Europe has been known to be typically secular, or wait, no, he's in South America, my bad. While South America is, and somewhat typically has a secular government at least, this guy does not believe in that. He has actively said, quote, God above everything, there is no such thing as a secular state. The vast majority of the Western world that the fascists love so much would like to have a word with you. He then added, the state is Christian, and the minority will have to change it. If they can. Okay, so he's a theocrat. But, you know, to be fair, a lot of countries have theocratic governments, and those are bad. But okay, that's just normal Central America, South America problems. What else is true about this guy? Let's just see what else he believes. Well, it could be considered interesting that in a June 2011 interview with Playboy, he said that he, quote, would prefer a gay son to, quote, die in an accident. Okay. And was also called Brazil's biggest homophobe. Okay. Okay. Both of those are bad. But you know what? People from about a century ago have held those views and been pretty good in my mind. What else does he believe? What else does he believe? Well, he has admired the Brazilian military dictatorship from 1964 to 1985. Yes, he supports a military dictatorship and has actually interrupted classes and taken out content about the history of fascism. Okay. What else do we have? Well, you know what? You know what? This could be interesting. Okay. Apparently he has children. One of them's a daughter. He can't be too bad in that regard. In a public speech in April 2017, he said that he had 5 children, that 4 of them were males, and the 5th one he produced a daughter out of, quote, a moment of weakness. What else did he say? Just Just show me what else he said. In July 2008, he advocated for the sterilization of poor people because they might be too uneducated to understand family planning. Sounds like a lovely guy. Anyway, so recently in Israel, a synagogue was shot up in Pennsylvania. This is, of course, very bad. We all agree on that, and the media was covering it nonstop instead of covering, say, a fascist being elected in Brazil. But, you know, that's all besides the point. Luckily for you, the Israeli ambassador to the U.S. went on MSNBC to explain the real problem. People who are mean to Israel. What?
Support or services the Israeli government is providing to the Jewish community there? Well, in addition to being here, we have a minister who's here today for the event at 5 o'clock. We're also sending Israelis who are specialists in dealing with trauma after these types of attacks. Unfortunately, Eamon, we've had many of these types of attacks in Israel, and we have some very good experts at dealing with the trauma that follows the attack, the trauma of the family members, of friends, and they're going to be arriving tomorrow in Pittsburgh. I'm talking to you about the political leadership in this country, if they bear, and the kind of vitriol that we see directed towards the Jewish American community. You just heard the president there say that people who are chanting in Charlottesville saying the Jews will not replace us, being described as very fine people. Well, I didn't think that the president's comment after Charlottesville were very good, and I just told you that I thought his comments yesterday were as strong a comments as I've ever heard from any leader, so I'm very glad to hear them. And I think the problem, Eamon, is that when people attribute anti-Semitism to one side of the political debate, they make a very big mistake. Jews have been accused of being capitalists. Jews have been accused of being communists. Jews have been accused of being the biggest of. Jews have been accused of being the Jews for centuries. The people who we should blame for anti-Semitism is the anti-Semites. Those are the ones who deserve the blame. This guy who went in and killed 11 people at prayer, he is the one to blame. What I saw from the president yesterday was one of the strongest statements I've ever heard from a leader. And the difference of this president, Eamon, is that he has Jews in his family. So I think there's no question in my mind that he wants to confront the anti-Semites. I hope that people from both sides of the political aisle will put the politics aside and will work together to confront anti-Semitism, which is a growing problem. Listen, Eamon, the President of the United States is not the reason why you have Jeremy Corbyn in Europe, a leader of the Labour Party in Britain, who's an anti-Semite. It's not the problem why you have attacks against Jews in European countries. But Ambassador, you're willing to call...
Oh! Okay. I get it now. That's what you meant earlier when you said people on both sides of the political spectrum are to blame. You know, you didn't mean, for instance, Nazis and communists both exterminating Jews. You meant Jeremy Corbyn, who has never been proven to be an anti-Semite. The most I've ever seen is he hung out with some shady people about a decade or two ago. Which, to be fair, everyone hangs out with shady people in politics. I'm sorry, that just happens. You're not going to like every single person you work with in politics. But it's actually his fault because he doesn't like Israel. Okay. Anything else?
And to simply say that this is because of one person, or it only comes on one side, is to not understand the history of anti-Semitism or the reality of anti-Semitism. One of the big forces in college campuses today is anti-Semitism, and those anti-Semitism...
Any proof of this? I don't see many colleges holding up goddamn swastikas. Unless you mean the BDS movement, in which case that's simply a response to occupation. And doing things like, oh, I don't know, shooting journalists and people trying to rescue people who have already been shot.
Are usually not neo-Nazis on college campuses. They're coming from the radical left. So we have to stand against anti-Semitism, whether it comes from the right or whether it comes from the left.
Okay. So the vast majority of that was just meaningless. It was just words that, listen, both sides are to blame. Thank you, Mr. Centrist. You seem intelligent. But he threw in a little, oh no, it's all the fault of the people who believe in the BDS movement and who question us every now and then. So wait, let me get this straight. The problem isn't the permanent occupation. The problem isn't the chemical weapons and literally vaporizing citizens. The problem is, to be clear, so we all understand this, people criticizing Israel. I'm Ephrom, and good night.